Democrats are already claiming that last night's White House Correspondents Dinner shooting was staged. But unfortunately for them, Thomas Allen's manifesto has been released, and his manifesto debunks all of their crazy conspiracy theories. Here's President Trump calling into Fox News, revealing a little bit of what was in that manifesto.
Complained if they weren't, believe me. They were looking at me probably more than anybody else. I see the administration, and the guy is a sick guy. When you read his manifesto, he hates Christians. That's one thing for sure. He hates Christians, a hatred. And I think his sister or his brother actually was complaining about it. You know, they were even complaining to law enforcement. So he was a very troubled guy.
So, according to the New York Post, Cole sent this manifesto to his family and friends just 10 minutes before he opened fire in the Washington Hilton. Now, this is 3 pages, so we're going to go through one page at a time, but it begins like this. Hello, everybody. So, I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. I apologize to my parents for saying that I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying that I had a personal emergency. By the way, he is a teacher from California, so that's what he means by students. By the time anyone reads this, I probably, most certainly, do need to go to the emergency room, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. I apologize to all of the people I traveled next to, all of the workers who handled my luggage, and all of the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger by simply being near. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this, to all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, and to all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me, and I am no longer willing, key point right here, to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. Now, that is just stunning right there. He's putting in writing his motivations for doing this. So we knew yesterday he was a registered Democrat. We knew he was from California, that he's a teacher. So obviously you take all those data points and it already paints a picture of what this guy is. But for him to call President Trump a pedophile, for him to call him a racist, just shows that he's bought into the fake news media narratives. President Trump has never once been charged or, found guilty of rape, right? He's been accused, but even in the E. Jean trial conviction, that wasn't the conviction that he got. And so he can't even get his facts straight. But where does that narrative come from? Where does the fake news of President Trump as a pedophile? Clearly, this is in reference to the Epstein files, right? And look, a lot of people, independents, people center of right, they still want transparency. They still want something to be done about the Epstein files. But the Democrats and the mainstream media have blown the Epstein files way out of proportion. Just take a look. These are just some of the clips that aired on mainstream TV, CNN and MS Now.
You don't care that the president might be a pedophile? You don't care that the
pedophile? No.
You don't care.
Listen, if people decide that they want to continue to support a person who may be a pedophile himself or a person who obviously is covering for pedophiles, that's on them. But they should know at least the devil that they have decided to pick.
He's fought to be the head of the pedophile protection party. And we know that right now he is being investigated for war crimes that he might have committed.
So it's very clear that Thomas Allen was conditioned to think this way by the Democrat Party. He was conditioned to think this way by the mainstream media because the mainstream media is allowing prominent Democrats, actual representatives, to go on live TV, spew that nonsense, spew something that they know is factually and provably false. That's why so many people on the left have Trump derangement syndrome, because they are plugged into the mainstream media matrix and they can no longer decipher for themselves what is true or what is false. Now, just because you believe terrible things about someone, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to commit violence. But again, people like Thomas Allen have been conditioned to embrace violence. I mean, just take a look at Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker, the nephew of Cenk Uygur, is one of the most prominent podcasters, one of the most prominent streamers on the left. And in fact, just 3 days ago, the New York Times decided to promote Hassan Piker. So what sort of stuff does Hassan Piker say on his podcast? Well, here's just one clip that shows how radical he is.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those and murder those the street. Let the streets soak in their red capitalist bloods, dude.
So they openly talk about murder. They talk about killing capitalists, and clearly capitalists, I mean, that is a word that is aligned with the Republican Party, because conservatives, Republicans, they support the free market. They support the free exchange of ideas and goods and services. I mean, the free market is what this country is all about. So for them to be calling for blood and assassinations, this is poisoning young men on the left. This is poisoning people who listen to radical voices like Hassan Piker, and of course, like I just said, the New York Times to promote him on a national platform even larger than he already has. No wonder the left is turning so radical. And Thomas Allen wasn't the only radical at last night's White House Correspondents Dinner. Just outside, there were protesters. Take a look at this sign: "Death to tyrants." It wasn't just that sign. "Death to all of them," reads this sign, and behind him, "Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell." So these obviously are violent signs. They're not coming out of nowhere. This has been fomented by the radicalism that the left is promoting, that the mainstream media is promoting. And speaking of the mainstream media, immediately after shots were fired and Secret Service was trying to secure the room, I mean, take a look at this. This was the priority for some of those media members.
Tragically, we've covered shootings, we've covered all sorts of scary and terrible events, but it's not often where you have a loved one next to you in that moment, and you're also
So taking wine bottles from the tables, and as you saw there, they were actually taking selfies. I mean, this could have been a more tragic event. Thank God no one was killed. Now, a Secret Service member was shot, but he is doing fine. He was wearing a bulletproof vest, so, no life-threatening injuries or anything like that. But to take a selfie, seriously, at the scene of the crime, it's just really odd to me. And in fact, when President Trump was speaking, press members were photographed actually drinking some of the bottles of wine, literally drinking out of the bottle. That was apparently a bottle that was taken from the table. Well, on to the second page of the manifesto here. Cole continues, "While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement." Probably in a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. "Administration officials are target number one, not including Mr. Patel," so that is really interesting. I don't know why. "They are targets prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Secret Service, they are targets only if necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible, aka I hope they're wearing body armor, because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Hotel security, they're not targets if at all possible, aka unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, same as hotel security. National Guard, same as hotel security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot rather than slugs, less penetration through walls. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor and are thus complicit, but I really hope it doesn't come to that." So again, just even that last sentence, that last paragraph there, he's admitting just how crazy he is, right? That he'll go through everyone to get to his intended targets, and very clearly he spells out that everyone in the administration was a target, and it's really scary, right? President Trump was there, Vice President J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr. I mean, the list goes on. Scott Bessent, a huge chunk of the chain of succession in that one room, and clearly security was an abysmal disaster. There's actually an eyewitness testimony from one of the attendees, a media member. She actually saw Thomas Allen put the gun together, and apparently he put this together right beside a security checkpoint before he charged the metal detectors. Take a look. This is an eyewitness account from the shooting.
Okay. So you're taking tickets at the terrace level?
Yeah, and everyone was pretty much in, and a lot of people had already gone. We were doing dinner breaks in shifts.
Yeah.
And I was just out there, and there was still security there, and I was even talking to a security guard that had a dog there.
Yeah.
And there's a room, well, it was like a makeshift room. I think they had it closed off to wheel in the bar carts after the reception. All these numerous bar carts going into this area, I think, to go in the elevator to go downstairs.
Okay.
So it looked like a makeshift room. I mean, he was literally from me to that building, and there was a security guy there too. I mean, I don't think anyone knew what he was doing.
Describe him. What did he look like?
I'm not even sure what he looked like.
And what made you think he's the shooter? How do you know he's the guy?
I saw him put the gun together and start shooting.
Oh my God.
Yes. I mean, he put it together and started and ran towards the stairs to go down to the ballroom.
Who did he shoot? In what direction did he shoot? What did he shoot?
I don't know what he shot. It just seemed like he was shooting all over the place.
How far away were you when you started shooting from him?
From that building to here.
Did he shoot in your direction?
No, he shot like over towards that way. Like the magas to go in were behind me, and I guess he was shooting towards them. They were starting to tear them down even.
Tear down the what?
The magas, the metal detectors that you have to go.
So obviously, ever since last night, everyone has been talking about the security failures, but to make matters worse, he actually updated his manifesto before he shot. So in case you haven't heard yet, he checked into the hotel in early April. So he's been in the hotel a few weeks. He apparently brought his guns, multiple guns, upstairs to his room, including knives. He basically camped out. That's how he was able to gain access to the hotel during this event. Well, he updated the manifesto, adding a third page, really talking about how bad the security was. So it's bad enough that he opened it gleefully. Oh, hey, everyone, exclamation point. And as if, he's about to take life and he's acting really happy and chill and gleeful and excited about it. Well, this third one, he is just gloating at how terrible security is. P.S. Okay, now that all that sappy stuff is done, sappy, I mean, this guy is delusional and sick. What the hell is the Secret Service doing? Sorry, gonna rant a bit here and drop the formal tone. Like, I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got, who knows, maybe they're pranking me, is nothing. No damn security, not in transport, not in the hotel, not in the event. Like, the one thing that I immediately noticed walking into the hotel is the sense of arrogance. I walked in with multiple weapons, and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. The security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. Like, this level of incompetence is insane, and I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets actually competent leadership again. So of course he has to throw in an insult, like, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought a damn Medusa in here and no one would have noticed this expletive. And so he himself is being really arrogant about this, but slamming Secret Service. Like I said yesterday on the live stream, I've actually been in a building before when President Trump was there. I was there to see him. It was a fundraiser. And in order to enter the building, it was a lot more secure than this. We actually went through multiple rounds of security. There was that initial round, which included a metal detector. I had to show my ticket. And then there was a second round, which was a lot more intense to actually enter that room. So when I saw just how lax security was last night, not just, from what he wrote in the manifesto, but attendee after attendee said the same thing. And then just take a look at this not security footage, it's cell phone footage of the security lines of people going through the metal detectors. And I don't know about you, I mean, this looks just way too lax, way too relaxed. I mean, that was it. That was the security to get in. Just that, right? It's a joke. I have no words for how incompetent that looks. We go through way more security when we go to the airport, when we get on an airplane. It's a lot more intense than that. And you're telling me that they just had to walk through like that. There are curtains open, and it appeared that that person who was filming was just, oh, let me walk on the other side. I didn't see that many security agents manning that metal detector. It's just an absolute joke. Well, yesterday during the live stream, I was sort of poking fun at Wolf Blitzer. In case you guys missed it, Wolf Blitzer apparently thought that the gunman was coming at him. But in context now, it's really not that crazy. I can't believe I'm saying that, and I'm not defending Wolf or the mainstream media for their actions, but it'll make a lot more sense when we get there. But first, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Super Roamer ×2, Moon Fairy 11 ×2, Mad Negro, and I'm Just Me. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I'm glad that you enjoy, and I'm glad that you're here. Well, Wolf Blitzer had to use the restroom, and he literally was right by the shooter. The shooter was charging by him, and Wolf said on CNN he thought that maybe he was the target. Maybe he thought that it was someone upset by his Iranian coverage. Well, again, there is more eyewitness testimony from inside the ballroom. Well, they're no longer inside when this is, taken, but these are firsthand accounts of people who were there when all of this went down, and it makes a lot more sense for Wolf Blitzer, I guess.
I was walking, I can tell you, I was walking into the bathroom, and I see Wolf Blitzer, and I'm just walking, and I look around, and then I hear shots, and I turn, and as I'm opening the door, I hear shots. Then I turn, and I see, I thought he was jumping on Wolf Blitzer. I thought it was somebody here to attack Wolf Blitzer. Maybe somebody, I figured maybe they think he's too pro-Israel or something, I don't know. Hello. And then I just come back, and then I look again, and I'm like, oh, they just shot somebody.
How close would you say the shots were to you?
I don't know.
It was just sound. I mean, it sounded so close to me.
I was 50 feet away, and they, or less, and I saw them. I saw him run. It looked like the guy was running down the stairs, and there were 3 or 4, secret.
Which stairs were they?
Right here, up here to the left.
Right by the metal detector.
Yeah, right, just past the metal detector.
Yeah.
Looked like he ran past the metal detector, and then there were guys coming at him, and that's when I hit.
And Secret Service, it was several shots from several Secret Service officers. Did he have a firearm?
Couldn't see.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Nobody saw a firearm, but he was running.
He was running.
He was in a full sprint.
He was running.
Yeah, again, so look, obviously, from the outside in, we all know that President Trump, the administration, they were the real targets. Clearly, we know that officially because of the manifesto. But look, I apologize for making fun of Wolf yesterday. It's totally understandable, especially given the other eyewitnesses who thought the exact same thing. Now, look, this manifesto completely debunks all of the narratives that the left is attempting to build. They're trying to claim that this was staged. I mean, we know this guy's a Democrat. We now have his manifesto. If this was staged, couldn't he just say, oh, I'm a crisis actor. Oh, someone put me up to this. Oh, none of that would make sense, right? If you wanted any sort of plausible deniability, you would take out the person. You would take out any so-called crisis actor. The fact that we have him alive says a lot. And yet, of course, the Democrats, the media, the podcasters like Hassan Piker, they're going to spin whatever conspiracy theories they can. And that's why I continue to bring as much evidence as I can in all my videos. That's why I always play these clips so you guys can see the clips firsthand, or that's why I wanted to take the time to read this manifesto, so it's not just he said, she said, but you guys actually see the facts and what's actually going on. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, what was the most interesting part of the manifesto to you? Like, what was a takeaway for this situation? Let me know down in the comments below. To me, what stood out was that he called President Trump a pedophile and a rapist. That tells me that this guy is really delulu, and he's fallen for the mainstream media and the far left influencer talking points. And that just shows how dangerous it is that there's so much misinformation out there, because he can't even get his facts straight. And so it really shows us the power of reporting. And sometimes that power can be used for evil, not just good. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.